Today I wanted to discuss my 5 favourite games with this bad boy, the PlayStation 2. As always, everyone has different opinions, so let me know your favourite games for this console in the comment box below. I'm gonna put this out there and state that MGS2 is one of my favourite games of all time, right behind Shenmue for the Dreamcast of course, but that's another topic for another video. MGS2 made some great improvements to the Metal Gear Solid formula by adding several new mechanics that add an extra layer of realism to the game, such as the ability to aim and shoot in first person mode, hanging off ledges to avoid detection, and the inclusion of environmental factors such as shadows, temperature and weather that can all affect your chances of being caught. After the success of the first game, Kojima had his work cut out to create a successor that would fulfill the fans' expectations. But as most of us have come to expect with Kojima, you don't always get what you want. We wanted a game in which we play as this guy, not this guy. Yeah, the famous Raiden twist that managed to split the MGS community in half was kept secret right up until the game's release. And as you can imagine, gamers weren't at all happy that their favourite wisecracking hero Snake would not be a playable character for most of the adventure. Now going back and playing this game today, it's quite easy to see what Kojima was doing. By letting Snake take a backseat, it's possible to see his character in a different light, almost elevating his status as a legend. I mean, come on, whilst you're running around naked in a machine named after various parts of your ass, Snake can be found wielding infinite ammo as he takes down enemies with ease. This game truly is a masterpiece. From the extremely fun gameplay and boss fights to the absolute mindfuck of an ending, you will not be disappointed. Now, I don't give a fuck what anyone says, Ridge Racer is king in my eyes when it comes to racing. I fully appreciate the likes of Gran Turismo, but there is nothing quite like drifting around the corner to the sweet sounds of some of the catchiest music you've ever heard. And while it's not going to set anybody's house on fire, it's a title with broad appeal that's worthy of being one of the best launch titles for the system, as the original Ridge Racer was. Admittedly lacking in content, the game can feel quite repetitive at times, but as with all Ridge Racer games, the gameplay is where it's at. If you're a fan of the arcade style racer, this game is perfect for you. But if you like racing a tad more realistic, Gran Turismo 4 is easily the winner. Minus the Nickelodeon voice acting, Final Fantasy X was a great entry into the franchise that saw it taking a step back from the more open games in the series that had come before. It introduced us to a slightly more linear adventure that saw you traversing the colourful world of Spira in a bid to save the kingdom from a menace only known as Sin. The gameplay as you expect ticks all of the JRPG boxes, where you will find yourself leveling up and learning new abilities like a badass in no time. The way in which character progression works has to be one of the best features of the game, the sphere grid, which allows you to customize your character's growth throughout the game, giving a sense of personalization that was not present in the series before. The combat was a fresh reimagining of the traditional turn-based RPG style. It removed a great deal of clutter from the way things work and replaced them with depth and customization. Battles work just like they would have with ATB, but you don't have to sit and watch bars fill, or try to guess how many turns you'll have before the enemy gets theirs in. As for the story, this truly is one of the greatest within the series, and instead of spoiling it for you here, I suggest you go and pick this up and find out for yourself. If you're willing to invest the time required to unravel the title's mysteries, you will discover one of the PlayStation 2's most enjoyable games, and one of the most original adventure games to grace a console. The game involves you travelling back in time to change the course of destiny, and the repercussions as you travel from timeline to timeline, changing minute aspects and their effects on the future. This game truly is a cinematic experience that should not be missed, and with 6 endings in total, it will keep you busy for quite some time. No video game is perfect, but no other video game has gone quite as close as Shadow of the Colossus. The second game to come from the guys who brought us Ico managed to captivate gamers upon its release in 2005. The premise is simple: a girl is dying and you need to defeat these enormous monsters known only as Colossi in order to restore her life. Now the battles against the Colossi are epic and breathtaking. The long, quiet journeys on the road towards them are great ways to break up the action, providing the player with some much needed time to think and take everything in. From the environments to the musical score, everything feels heroic in scale, and lends itself nicely to the gameplay, which sees you traversing the world and hunting down the Colossi in a race against time. The only downside to the game has to be its camera, which can become a bit of a mess when travelling on your horse around the world, but this is only a slight problem which can easily be worked through. Even though this game is quite a rarity nowadays, if you're lucky enough to find it, you need to pick it up. And if you don't fancy going back to the PS2, there's a HD version available for the PS3.